Hey, Popcorn, you ready to go? Okay, let's go. Hello, animal lovers, and welcome to Critter Care. I'm pet guy Robert Church. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a great program, as promised. Today is all bunnies. We tried to talk about bunnies the other day. We realized, nope, we need a whole show to talk about bunnies, so that's what we're doing today. Two great guests today, and a lot of ground to cover, so let's get hopping. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Dr. Letitia Materi is with us from the Calgary Avian and Exotic Pet Clinic, and Amanda Greening is with us from the Canadian Rabbit Hopping Club. And Amanda also runs the Against All Odds Rabbit Rescue. We're going to be talking to her about both of those things. We're going to be doing rabbit agility, and it is a ton of fun. This bunny here is a Dutch bunny. A little bit of debate about whether it's a Dutch belted bunny, but apparently I was wrong. It's just a Dutch bunny. Popcorn is the #1 rated bunny in the Canadian Rabbit Hopping Club standings. Right now I've got kind of like the Sidney Crosby of jumping rabbits with me. And Dr. Materi is holding Watson. And Watson is a 10 or 12-week-old bunny. How old is Watson? About 10 weeks, 12 weeks from the Against All Odds Rabbit Rescue. So Watson looking for a home, and Popcorn looking to defend a championship. So Dr. Materi, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
And great to have you here. You've got a pretty unique practice that you and Dr. Korber have because you have chosen not to work with dogs and cats.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about why you just are going with all the other animals.
Sure. Well, so our clinic has been in Calgary since 1985, and we recognize how special these pets are and their unique needs, and we really want to provide them an environment where they feel safe and secure without the worry of barking dogs and meowing cats.
And a city of 1 million people here in Calgary, there's enough pets other than dogs and cats to support a practice and 2 veterinarians. So that's fantastic. Yeah. That's there. And you must see just, what do you see there?
Well, actually, a third of our practice are rabbits.
Okay, good.
So we see over 2,000 rabbit cases a year.
Awesome.
And a third are birds. So we see over 2,000 bird cases a year. And then the rest is a mixed bag, anywhere from guinea pigs, ferrets, to tarantulas and scorpions.
And lots of reptiles, snakes, and lizards and things like that.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so you've got to be pretty well versed in a pretty
you got to be ready to see anything.
wide range of, I mean, a dog, whether it's a Yorkie or a Great Dane, the sort of the physiology is similar, isn't it? Whereas a lizard versus a bird, we got to know quite a wide range there. We were talking, and again, a lot of ground to cover. We wanted to prioritize some of the things. I guess the most important thing for me to ask you, and for our bunny owners and potential bunny owners out there, why is it so important that we spay and neuter our pet rabbits?
Well, the #1 reason for sure is going to be pet population control. Unfortunately, rabbits are the 3rd most commonly euthanized animal in North America. Also for behavior problems, male rabbits left intact will often spray urine in the house, and female rabbits that are left intact can be quite aggressive and a little bit obnoxious. And then for health concerns, male rabbits, certainly they can get testicular cancer, not the same rate as dogs, but when it happens, it tends to happen in very geriatric males and makes surgery a little bit more risky. Female rabbits, the cancer rate is strikingly high. Anywhere from 40 to 60% of them over the age of 3 will develop cancer.
Is that because in the wild, rabbits aren't typically going to live that much longer?
It very well may be. Right. It also is in captivity. A lot of them just aren't being bred, so that reproductive system, which is really geared up to have a lot of babies, isn't really being used, and so the physiology probably predisposes it towards cancer.
Sure. I mean, the term breeding like rabbits is because they breed like rabbits.
Absolutely.
They've got a very high drive. And so I think if you can eliminate that, then you wind up with a really nice pet, don't you?
Absolutely, for sure. Makes a huge difference.
And I had my bunny Carlos was here the other day, and he's 6.5.
Nice.
And he's just a wonderful, wonderful pet rabbit. And is he getting to be a geriatric now?
Depends on the breed. The larger breeds are considered older at a younger age, but I would say on average, anywhere from 7 to 8, they start entering their geriatric years. Yeah.
Okay, so he's still middle-aged.
Yeah, getting up there.
Yeah, kind of like me, just on the cusp. Whippersnip. Diet is very important in our bunnies. Can you touch on that for me, please?
By far, the most important part of a rabbit's diet is hay. They need hay because the fiber stimulates their gut. It keeps things moving. When they eat hay, they've shown that their jaw will slide side to side to scissor through those long fibers, and all of their teeth, and rabbits have 28 teeth in their head, continuously grow their whole life, and so they constantly have to wear it down.
28 teeth?
I know.
What do they put in them all?
They're in there. Pellets are made from hay. The problem with pellets is that they pulverize the hay into a powder, they bind it together, and when these guys eat it, their jaw goes up and down and they crumble, and they don't wear their teeth down the same way as they do with the long hay fibers.
So lots of Timothy hay in our diet.
Depending on the age.
And the pellets. And then what about vegetables and fruit and treats and things like that?
Absolutely. Vegetables can certainly make up a part of their diet. Usually about a cup per 2 kilograms a bunny. Leafy greens are great. They provide a lot of nutrients. They've actually shown that rabbits that eat vegetables actually drink more water. You think it would be the opposite, but they drink more water if they consume more vegetables. Got to watch treats and sugar content. Sugar and bunny make a bad combination.
My bunny is crazy about raisins.
Yeah.
That's bad, right? A lot of sugar in there.
One raisin once in a while, probably not going to be harmful.
Okay, so this is a case of do as we say, not as I do.
That's right.
One raisin per.
Once in a while.
Once in a while. So not. Okay, well, we'll talk to my kids about that because he does like his raisins. What are some other good treats then for bunnies?
There's a lot of really high fiber treats. I got to say, bunny nutrition has come a long way in the past decade or so, and there's certainly companies out there that have a lot of high fiber treats that are made out of Timothy hay. Sometimes they'll even put flowers in there for flavor. So there's all sorts of great stuff.
So what about obesity then? Probably a big problem with rabbits because they like to eat, and if they're bored, they eat.
And it tends to be in the bunnies that like to overdo the pellets because pellets are a much more concentrated food source. So if they eat a lot of that and they have very sedentary lives, so if they're spending more time in the cage and not getting that exercise, I mean, just like us, too many calories, not enough exercise, and you gain weight pretty fast.
And is there a way can we help our bunnies lose weight?
You can. So if you select the right diet, something that's high fiber, low calorie, if you get them moving and exercising, absolutely they can lose weight.
So we'll show them some of our agility tricks a little later on in the program. We're going to take a quick break. Thank you so much, Dr. Letitia Materi from the Calgary Avian and Exotic Pet Clinic with us. I'm Pet Guy Robert Church, and this is Critter Care on Shaw.
Hey, Popcorn, you did great.
The Warramps is a big family. It's people who have amputations like me. My prosthetic limbs, the Warramps gave me, helped me so much. I can run, I can horseback ride, I can swim. Your amputation doesn't hold you back. You can do whatever you want.
Welcome back to Critter Care. I'm Pet Guy Robert Church. It's our bunny extravaganza today, or our lagomorph party, I guess you call it.
Lollapalooza.
Lagomorph Lollapalooza, thank you. Popcorn is here with me. He is a Dutch bunny, and he is the champion agility bunny so far in the Canadian Rabbit Hopping Club. And we've also got Watson, who is a baby bunny who is looking to be adopted from the rescue organization, the Against All Odds Rescue. Okay. There we go. Dr. Letitia Materi is with me from the Calgary Avian and Exotic Pet Clinic, and we're talking bunny health. We just covered off some important stuff about nutrition, and hopefully rabbit owners were listening, because nutrition can prevent a lot of other problems with bunnies. that you see. How often should we be taking our pet bunny to see a veterinarian?
Depends on their age and health status. In general, we recommend once a year. Senior bunnies twice a year, every 6 months. But yeah, about a year.
And no vaccinations, no wormings, no anything like that, right?
We're very lucky. We live in a country where a lot of those scary rabbit viruses just don't exist. In terms of deworming, well, we always recommend a fecal, especially if bunnies spend a lot of time outside. Yeah, that's...
Bunnies, can they get like coccidia and giardia and things like that as well?
They get coccidia and mostly pinworms.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things, you sent me some notes. You've got a whole seminar, 2.5-hour seminar on sort of bunny first aid.
Yeah, we do a 2.5-hour rabbit first aid course. We've actually done 2 this year, and they've been great.
And how do we find out about those?
You can contact our clinic. You can like us on Facebook, and all the details are there.
So if you're interested in bunny first aid, were they well attended by?
They were, yeah. They sold out.
Did you have the entire greening family there with you?
Just about.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, but really, good sources of information for bunnies, and preventative care for bunnies is hugely important.
Yes.
And like you said in your notes, most rabbit cases are presented to you as emergencies.
Yes.
So maybe let's be a little bit more preventative.
Absolutely. Yeah, rabbits are prey species. Their instinct is to hide illness. If you look weak in the big wide world, somebody bigger spots you and has you for lunch. So they hide it until they can't hide it anymore, and then all of a sudden they're crashing. And
it's our pet, and it's our responsibility, and we should know that little bunny's behavior really better than anybody else. So what are the things that we want to watch for to know or to get an idea if our little pet is getting sick?
Probably the number one reason we see them is digestive problems. So checking to make sure that they eat, that they're eating, that their pellets are going down, that their hay is going down, and really watch the litter box. Rabbits poop a lot, and they should always be filling up that litter box. You want to check it every day. Sure.
Yeah, we need to be very, very careful about that. And what about the hands-on exam?
Yep.
So there's the observational where you watch them and you watch what they're passing, but then there's a real hands-on one, right? Too?
Yep, absolutely. If you take that moment just to do that distant exam, see how they're breathing, look for discharge, and then get your hands on the bunny, feel for lumps and bumps, feel for wet chins. A lot of bunnies that have dental problems will drool quite a bit. Lifting them up. A lot of people don't lift up their bunny to look underneath, right?
Yeah.
Look at the skin underneath the feet, look at the skin around their back end, make sure it's not getting soiled with urine and stool.
We need to be very careful about that. A rabbit can get really plugged up at their back end with a little bit of diarrhea.
Yeah. Well, diarrhea, or sometimes I see a lot of senior rabbits that have a hard time grooming themselves. So the cecotropes, which are the soft poops that they make, will get stuck there. And that can be a problem for the skin. If they're going outside, it can be an area where they might get fly strike. So you really have to make sure that area is clean.
You've got, what did we say, 28 teeth?
28 teeth.
All of them are growing. So are dental issues one of the most common problems that you see?
Yeah, we see a lot of dental problems. There certainly seem to be certain breeds that are a little more prone. But yeah, we get rabbits that come in with long incisors or large spikes on the back teeth that are cutting into the tongue or cutting into the cheek. Yeah.
And again, are domestic rabbits getting that because in the wild they don't live that long to develop those problems?
Some of it is that. Some of it is also inappropriate diet. So again, if you don't get enough hay, you're not going to grind the teeth properly. And some breeds, like lops, unfortunately, part of the breed standard is have sort of a little round head, which shortens the jaw. But we didn't change the number of teeth that they have, so it gets crammed into a tighter spot.
What are some of the other issues? We're not brushing their teeth.
No, but they can't get cavities because their teeth are always growing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
1+.
That's right. Okay, and some of the other issues that we want to watch out for with our bunnies.
Well, you want to watch for any signs of nasal discharge. Rabbits are obligate nasal breathers. They can only breathe through their nose. So if it starts to get plugged up with mucus, then that becomes a big problem for them. You want to watch for lumps and bumps. You want to watch the urine for any signs of blood or color changes.
So lots of things to watch for.
Absolutely.
And lots of things to be very, very careful of. Thank you so much. I know we weren't able to really jam your 2.5-hour bunny first aid
That's
course
all right.
into this, because you also talk a little bit about our CPR, even in
Yes.
artificial respiration, which are amazing things to know.
Yep.
And anyways, you can go to the Calgary Avian and Exotic Pet Clinic on Facebook to look for these courses that you're offering online. Thank you so much, Dr. Materi.
Thank you.
Calgary Avian and Exotic Pet Clinic. And we're going to take a quick break. We're going to see popcorn in action after this with Amanda Greening and the Canadian Rabbit Hopping Club. Back in just a minute. I'm Robert Church. This is Critter Care on Shaw. Popcorn. Another awesome bit of television.
Crown Produce Canada West football is live on Shaw. It's semi-final weekend on the Western Gridiron. Tune in Friday, November 1st for the Saskatchewan Huskies and Manitoba Bisons, followed by a Saturday, November 2nd clash between the UBC Thunderbirds and Calgary Dinos.
Welcome back to Critter Care. I'm Pet Guy Robert Church. Well, you've seen them on Canada's Got Talent. You've seen them on Alberta Primetime, City TV's Breakfast Show, Global Television, the Edmonton Journal, and right here on Shaw. This organization has training programs, sanctioned events, a rescue organization, and a Hall of Fame. And at the center of it all, we find Amanda Greening. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
And it's the Canadian Rabbit Hopping Club.
Yep.
Or CanadianRabbitHoppingClub.com. That wasn't taken. No. Cost her $10,000 at GoDaddy for that name. Wow. But we're doing rabbit agility today, and who's our friend?
This is Babbity Rabbity. He's a 6-year-old Holland Lop.
He is insanely cute, and he loves the course.
Oh yeah, he loves doing it.
Let's get him down on the starting block,
sure.
and you know what? You just talk us through it. Tell us what we're doing.
Yeah, so rabbit agility is a lot like dog agility. Hey, buddy, there you go. So yeah, we've got A-frames, teeter-totters, jumps, and as you can tell, they really enjoy doing it. Rabbits have a lot of energy. Hey, buddy, here you go.
I've got a 7-year-old rabbit at home, and he doesn't do nothing like this. not even close. So let's take him for one more tour.
Yeah,
over
for sure.
Here. Come on, Babbity Rabbity. Now this is the A-frame over the low jump. Jump. Coming up to the teeter-totter. And done. And that would be our time trial. And so we would time him, Babbity Rabbity, and then we would bring out Popcorn, because Popcorn is the reigning champion, correct? The fastest rabbit pretty much on the planet in the time trial events. This is unbelievable that you can teach a rabbit to go over all of this.
Yep, and it's actually really easy to do. We don't use treats or anything, but we can get them going in about half an hour sometimes.
Really? I should have brought my rabbit today, except I went to get him in the backyard and he kept running away from me. So he's not quite as trained as maybe the rabbits that we have in the Canadian Rabbit Hopping Club.
But he would be fast, and that's important.
I don't know how fast he'd be either. So now this is Popcorn, who we had out before, the Dutch bunny, and the reigning champion.
Yep.
And now we also have a bunny named Jabberwocky, who does. That's awesome that they go over that teeter-totter. An A-frame? So how many hours have you been training Popcorn?
Well, Popcorn's been at it for about 5 years now, so he's had a lot of practice, but he was actually pretty quick to train.
And you help people train their rabbits this way, correct?
Yep.
Now this is Jabberwocky, and Jabberwocky is actually the high jump champion.
Yep, he is one of the higher jumpers in the club.
I mean, your first little Babbity Rabbity, I mean, he's a tiny little guy. This guy's he's all legs, right? Of course he could jump higher than Babbity Rabbity.
Yep.
So do you handicap it?
Nope, it's actually, a lot of the smaller ones actually go higher, so he's just one of the rare ones that's bigger and actually jumps high.
Well, let's set him up. This is the high jump that we have over here.
It is.
So how high can we get him? I'll set it up, and you set up Jabberwocky then.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. And if we can bring him around this way, like we've been going.
Yep.
And then he can go right up to her. Okay. 1, 2. This is going to be. Are we going to set some? Oh, sorry, buddy. Can you do it? Oh, He didn't even break a sweat. And I know because I looked at his sweat glands around his lips, which I learned in Dr. Materi's first aid course. Okay, now I've set this up. This is pretty high here, so we're going to be going close to the record. The record is the gold band.
Yep, it is.
For Jabberwocky, alrighty. Over the A-frame, over the low jump. Come on, Jabberwocky.
The world record is actually a little over a meter.
Oh, is this again the in Denmark?
Yep.
They're at sea level. Okay, we're at like. Oh, nice try. Okay, he's going to shake that one off. How are we doing for time? Are we still able to do a couple more tries here? Okay, good. And do you think the rabbits enjoy this type of an event?
Oh yeah, they definitely do. When rabbits are really happy, they do this thing called a binky, which is where they kind of spring up in the air and kind of spaz out, and you'll see them do it and run into jumps, and they're just having a grand time.
My bunny does that too.
Yeah.
When we bring it, it's the morning or the evening, he really gets going. Do rabbits are sort of a morning or evening animal. So are they going to perform better? Do you have your events in the evenings versus the afternoon? Or?
It's kind of throughout the day, and you'll notice some of them do have a difference, but most of the time they're pretty active.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Can we try him one more time here?
Yep.
See if we can get him up over this. I saw him stretching earlier. And look at this.
He's a
There's
little
a
too
little
close.
way. There are great. Oh, nice try, buddy. There are great videos. Amanda's got some great videos on their website, CanadianRabbitHoppingClub.com. You can take a look. She talks all about how you can train bunnies. There's a little spot underneath that you can jiggle a little bit, and it makes them jump. I said that badly, but it's a very good video. And my compliments to you. I love your whole website. The Rabbit Hall of Fame was awesome with the 2 founding members. And so this is CanadianRabbitHoppingClub.com. What's your Facebook page?
It's the same, just Canadian Rabbit Hopping Club.
Sure, of course. And Jabberwocky, thank you so much. Popcorn and Babbity Rabbity also was doing some jumping with us today. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about your Against All Odds rabbit rescue, which you also do because you are so involved with rabbits and making sure they all go to good homes, and talk a little bit about all of that kind of stuff. So we'll be back in just a minute. Thank you so much for this and for the bunnies. And I'm Robert Church. This is Critter Care on Shaw.
You're a pathetic little runt. There's no getting away. After school, I'm gonna kick your...
Welcome back to Critter Care. I'm pet guy Robert Church. Amanda Greening is with me, and her mom Rosemary, also with the big bunny, is joining us here. We're going to be talking a little bit about Against All Odds Rabbit Rescue that Amanda takes care of, and she started it up, and she rescues rabbits. But first, I was a little remiss last segment. I really wanted to know, what was it like when you had your bunnies in the Canadian Rabbit Hopping Club on Canada's Got Talent?
Oh, it was a very exciting experience. We performed in Calgary in front of the judges, and they didn't do their best performance, but it was definitely good exposure for them.
Oh, what was the drawbacks?
A lot of hot lights, and they have very thick fur coats, and it isn't a good mix.
So the heat and probably a lot of distractions.
Yeah.
And are loud crowds bad for them?
For some rabbits it is, but for most of ours they're actually pretty used to it, so that doesn't really bother them too much.
Tell us a little bit about Against All Odds Rabbit Rescue, because that's something that came about as part of your rabbit hopping club.
Yep. Since we have the Rabbit Hopping Club, I think a lot of people see that we have rabbits and think it's a good place to surrender the ones that they don't want, so we wound up getting a lot of them from people, so we decided to kind of separate it into its own little entity, and that's how this kind of started. Why
are people surrendering their bunnies?
There's a lot of problems, you know, like somebody's having a baby or allergies, or people think they can just get a friend for their rabbit. And rabbits are actually pretty territorial, so it does take some work to bond them, and they do fight. So, yeah,
a fighting rabbit can be a pretty bad thing.
Yeah.
They do like a puncture bite, and then you don't really notice it, and because their fur's so thick, and it gets infected, and next thing you know, you got a big problem because they hide their illness so bad, don't they, Dr. Materi? Hiding their illness. That's right. Something we need to watch out. So what are the common behavior problems then that we're seeing? Is it like chewing, house training, shedding, aggression?
Yep, it's definitely chewing's a big one. They go for cables and wires, and it's a problem for people who aren't aware of that. And also a lot of hormonal behaviors. Like a lot of people don't realize that a hormonal rabbit will lunge, they can bite, they spray. So getting them spayed and neutered fixes that usually, but people just don't know about it. So
it makes a huge difference, and having a rabbit that is spayed and neutered, I think, is probably the most important thing you can do to improve their behavior. So I certainly, whoopsie, sorry about that. This is Quinn, right?
Quinn, yep.
Quinn and
Watson.
Watson and
Peace.
And now Peace is a unique breed. He's not part of our rescue. These are our 2 rescue bunnies. What is Peace? Tell us about him.
Peace is a spokes bunny right now. He's a Belgian hare, and there's around 200 of them in the United States and only about 5 of them in Canada. So they are a threatened species of rabbit, and they're actually one of the original breeds. So they're kind of the ones that all your pet rabbits have come down from.
It looks like it. I mean, what's the difference between a rabbit and a hare?
Hares are born with fur and their eyes are open and all that sort of thing, where rabbits are born naked and their eyes closed.
So much longer gestation period, I would think, if it's got hair and all of that.
Yep, because rabbits are around 28 to 30 days.
Right, and so when they're developed, is there much difference between them?
Not too much.
Oh, okay. So rabbits born naked, hares born with hair. How much attention and exercise do we need to give to our bunnies?
As much as possible. They have a lot of energy, a lot of personality, and they are very social with people. So as much as you can give. So
people that are keeping them as a caged pet are making a mistake?
Yeah, I mean, a free roam rabbit is probably best. Even if you just have them in an X pen, which is like the dog pens, it's good to put them in there at night, because a lot of people don't think about if there's a fire in the house, firemen look for a cage if they're looking for an animal, right? So it's good to have something for them at night.
I think you need to keep them confined at night, because they'll chew wires and they'll chew stuff in your house. They get into, they can be a little bit mischievous, because they do have the 28 constantly growing teeth. So they need lots of things to chew on. What do we give them other than just hay to keep them from chewing on all of our other stuff?
There are certain kinds of branches that you can get. Ours love apple branches. They just love gnawing the bark off of those. Mostly it's just a lot of hay, though.
A lot of hay.
Yeah.
Okay. And my bunny won't eat hay. I somehow failed as a hay provider for my bunny, but he doesn't like it. He eats a lot of dead leaves. He eats lots of stuff. He seems quite healthy, but no, I can't get him to do the hay. So what about some of the other things like house training a bunny? Because creatures of habit, they litter train very well.
Yep, they do. Actually, if you put hay in their litter box, they like to eat and go at the same time, so that generally encourages them to go in there. The most important thing is you want to make sure you get your wires and stuff up off the floor, and protect any furniture that you don't want chewed, that sort of thing.
Our bunny had a pretty free roam of our house for quite a long time, and he did chew through a lot of wires, and some of them I was quite surprised that he didn't actually hurt himself, because and yet I guess he wasn't grounded properly. The electricity couldn't run through his body or something. I don't know. I'm not an electrician, but he did manage to chew up wires and survive.
Yeah, there are quite a few that don't end up that lucky, though, so you definitely want to make sure that you prevent it.
The Against All Odds Rabbit Rescue is AAORR.com. You get all the good URLs. AAORR.com. Against All Odds Rabbit Rescue. If you're thinking about bringing a rabbit into your home, all the bunnies are spayed and neutered.
Yep.
And they've all been checked out by Dr. Materi.
Yep.
That's awesome. Thank you for supporting the organization. And the other one is CanadianRabbitHoppingClub.com. CanadianRabbitHoppingClub.com. So thank you so much for sharing your agility and sharing your rescue with us. And we've got some beautiful. This is Quinn, is a Harlequin.
Yep, she's a Harlequin.
Watson is a little brown one. And all looking for great homes. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. And we'll see you next week. I'm Robert Church, and this has been Critter Care on Shaw.
Hello, bonjour, Calgary. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak Francais in Alberta and that 90,000 live right here in Calgary? Oui, oui, c'est vrai. It's true. And now, thanks to Shaw Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about our special people